burlesque is, a moment in entertainment history in America where burlesque was first created. This kind of striptease burlesque was created, and to me it's about fantasy and beauty and glamour and opulence and extravagance, and something that is like a dreamland and doesn't really exist in real life, something that is completely, not relevant to real life, but that's what I love about it. It's just about pure fantasy and pleasure. Well, I think the most important thing to becoming a great burlesque performer is really, especially now when there are hundreds and thousands of performers all over the world, the most important thing now is to capture the spirit of this burlesque from another time, but to find new ways to make it completely new and different and bring it into a completely different space than it ever was, and then it's going to be able to evolve and live on. So, if we just created replicas of what was done in the past, it would be boring. We've already seen that. There has been a burlesque revival now for 20 years, and so it's time for people to do things, think about interesting ideas, and not just to see what I do and think that's the only way. There are lots of other ways other than just, my way. Well, I think, even though I perform striptease and you would think that it's mostly men, the reality is that most of my audience is female. On a typical night where I'm doing my full show or people are buying tickets to come see my show, it's probably about 80% women, and the other 20% is gay men or the spouses or mates and boyfriends of the women that are coming. So there's a big movement going on where people are finding something different from burlesque than they did, say, in the 1940s and 30s and 40s when it was in its golden age. So you have a lot of women that are feeling empowered by it and like seeing a different form of sensuality and beauty than what we see in the mainstream culture. It's my Rhinestone Cowgirl show. In America, it's a big thing, like the country western films, and I was really inspired by doing a show that was based on this, this character in America where we love like line dancing and wearing cowboy hats and cowboys boots. I wanted to do like something really cliche about that, and the music is all big band striptease music, but classic 1940s country western music. So, for me it's really fun to do because it's sexy, but it's a little bit funny. It's not too serious. It's, again, like a character that really doesn't even exist in real life. Oh yeah. Well, last time I was here performing at Café Olé, I performed for just for the owner of space. I did one night just for him with his friends, and it was really probably the biggest show I ever did for the fewest amount of people. It was really fun for me. Well, I got my start in the early 90s recreating fetish photos of a different time. I discovered the images of Betty Page, and I was really fascinated with this bringing together high beauty and glamour with things that are taboo and risque. And so, that's really where I got my start, and slowly I kind of, went more toward my burlesque side, but I still love bringing together elements of fetishism. Every show that I do, I have extremely high heels, which are fetishistic, corsets, which are of course a big fetish tool, and I love the exaggeration of the feminine form, and I incorporate a lot of like fetishistic, mythic women and the femme fatale and different kind of strange ideals of powerful women. So it's something that I've always been very fascinated by, is like the art from the fetish, the early fetish art and illustration and films, and those are always very interesting themes for me. And I like the challenge of disguising them with glamour. Like I don't like to do things that are too too heavy for people. I like to kind of like make them wonder why they love it. You know, I love a riding crop covered in Swarovski crystal. I love things that are a little bit, you know, a little that people think are risque, but I like feeding it to people in a way that they can accept it and understand it. Well, I think that sensuality and eroticism is something that has very little to do with just outer beauty, but is about cultivating all of these other facets of yourself. There's a lot of factors that come together that make someone really sensual and erotic. And I'm turned on by creative people with a great sense of humor, self-confidence, but with self-confidence with kindness. You know, I like being around people that have a good, you know, sense of self and are witty and funny and have a special understanding of what it is to be, you know, enjoy life. I do all my own styling and my own hair and my own makeup and everything for my shows and the red carpet, and I'm very like self-styled and do-it-yourself, you know, kind of girl. My whole career is based on wanting to create glamour and beauty and illusion. I love coming to Ibiza. It was one of my favorite trips ever, and to be able to perform at this wonderful space, it's like I really loved being part of the show, and I was really impressed by the dancers and the styling and the way that this whole night is set up. So it was a really, really big pleasure for me to be here. I love electronic music. That's really where I got my start. In 1990 to 93, I was very big in the electronic dance music scene in the United States, and I started making little shows for the clubs there, so it's one of the reasons I love coming to a place like Space at Ibiza. I've come here on holidays a few times. I really love coming here. Like I said, I got my start in the electronic dance music scene, so for me and for a lot of other people that love that kind of music, this is like Mecca. You know, you have to make the pilgrimage here to Ibiza. So I love coming here because I love relaxing all day and having the beautiful ocean, and then at night being able to go out and dance and have a good time. You know. So. I still go to a lot of events. I have a lot of favorite DJs and electronic bands that I really love. I love going to music festivals and hearing live music. You know, I recorded a song with a band called Monarchy, who I'm really good friends with and who's actually here with me tonight. You know, there's a lot of bands I really love listening to, like the Presets and Boys Noise is a good friend of mine. I love electronic music, so whenever I have a chance, usually my holidays revolve around going to see live music. I mostly would just like to be remembered for changing people's minds about what it is to be a stripper. You know, like showing people that there's a different way, you know, of performing striptease other than just what you see in modern day strip club, that there's a place for different kinds of women, that you don't have to just be tan and look great in a bikini to be considered sexy, because like I admire that kind of sexy as well, but sometimes we forget that there are lots of different kinds of sexy, and we need to have different kinds of role models that we can relate to. So I guess I just hope that there are some women that if they can't fit into a certain standard of beauty and sexy, that maybe I will be their standard, because that's what it was for me. So I just want to be remembered for, you know, my own particular brand of burlesque and striptease.